In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Dalano Banton, a Raptors player who is really starting to turn into one of my favorite Raptors players right now. So let's get down, let's check him out, let's check out what makes him so good and some of the things that he does that you can implement into your game. So the first thing that we really want to look at is his ability to recover to players who use screens. Here he's able to recover, and of course this is partially due to the Toronto Raptors switch everything defense is a main reason why he is able to recover here, but he's able to recover and he's not afraid to go up and block shots. Of course, this is something that comes very easy for him because he's like a 6'8" point guard, which is insane. Dalano Banton's also very good at attacking zones and being able to draw in multiple defenders and of course finding teammates who are leaking out, going from point to wing, and able to do this with one hand. One-hand passes are very good to be able to do, and you should be looking to really perfect those if you're a guard. Now this right here is why one-handed passes are so good. So first off, what Dalano Banton is doing here is not an in-and-out dribble. What he's doing here is he was about to do a one-handed pass over to Svi. However, what happens is there's a player here who may be able to get through and he didn't want to risk that pass. So with a one-handed pass, he hasn't picked it up just as of yet. He's able to continue his dribble. He then passes over to a player who's cutting from the wing to the point. And at this point, he's able to then continue to move off ball, finding an open space on the court. What does he do? Well, after he made that pass, what could he do? He could cut over towards this side. That would continue to bring his defender with him. And of course, if this was going to be a screen, then he'd be just getting in the way. So what does he do? He just moves out towards this left side, an open area of the court, which then allows him to receive that pass back, and he's able to drain that three. He also has a very good shooting form, and I really do need to break that down very, very soon. Check out that rotation on that ball, however. That is a ton of rotation, and I really want to break down his shot soon. He's a very good defensive player, but here is not a defensive play that he was in. It was, of course, Gary Trent Jr. who was in this defensive play. But what does Banton do? He likes to catch that ball with one hand after a steal, and he's able to then put on basically a super pack of just speed. And look at how long his strides are to get to that rim. So first off, he gets that ball. He pushes that ball forward. That's what his main secret is. If you are looking to really push after a transition or like in transition basketball after a steal, you get that ball in one hand and you push it ahead and then you chase after it. Look how many steps he got. He pushed it ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth step, and he dribbles once more. And then he takes 1, 2, and then 3, which is technically a travel to some people. However, watch this. He hasn't gathered the ball until there. So technically, he was still looked to be on the ground when he gathered it right there. But, of course, that doesn't matter because the game is moving so fast that he's able to say that that is the gather there. NBA players move extremely fast. Our referees don't have slow motion vision. That is why this left-right right here was the gather and he was able to make that layup. But what I really want to instill on you here is when you get that steal, really try to push. Look at how long his strides are. Try to take as many and as long of strides as you can. Check that out. Just one dribble from half court, technically speaking, and he's able to make that layup. This is a great slow motion view. He gets it in his left hand and then he pushes it ahead and then chases after it. This is a very, very high level move. And then on the finish, he leads with his body. See that? Watch that. Left, right, goes up and leads with his body. That gets the contact. That clears out that defender. And then he's able to go up with both or even his left hand, which we see here is, of course, a right-handed shot still. But if he was to go up with his left hand, that would still be, if it was accurate enough, a very good shot. And then when he's attacking the rim, look at what he does. This is something that so many young basketball players don't do, and they get stripped every single time. So when he attacks the basket on his 2 steps, this is his gather, on his 2 steps, he brings that ball straight into his gut, gets 2 hands on it. That way, when he goes up with 2 hands again, gets hacked. See that? If he went up with 1 hand right there, he would have got stripped. But he went up with 2 hands, which means that he's able to then protect that ball and go up, get that layup, and get that and 1 call. This is a very good move as well. So here he's attacking, he's drawing a secondary defender on his own, kicks it out with 1 hand to Fred VanVleet. Now, what does he do after that? He doesn't just stand there. He doesn't just go and clear out somewhere. What does he do? Well, there's no place over here and no place over here and no place over here to clear to, and you better not be taking up space in the key. If you just drove there, you need to go somewhere. What does he do? He clears out towards this side. Fred VanVleet attacks that gap once more, in which case now Fred VanVleet's able to kick it out for an absolutely wide open 3-point shot for Dalano Banton. Now, the benefit of having a tall point guard, like a 6'8" guy like Dalano Banton as a point guard, is this right here. So here he gets that screen by Precious Achiuwa. He has a 7-footer on him. He has a man who's about 6'6" on him as well, trying to recover back here. However, he's able to see over top of the defense, and because he has the angle from being tall, he's able to get that ball into Precious Achiuwa for that layup. This is actually probably the reason why he has now leapfrogged Dragic as well as leapfrogging Malachi Flynn. It's because of his passing ability, but his passing ability also because of his height. It leaves teams unable to get these passes that are going into the key because somebody like Malachi Flynn would not be able to make that pass. He would have to try and dribble towards the left side to get a bounce pass through, but instead we see that Dalano Banton is able to get that quick lob pass in just because of his mere height. I really liked him when he was playing in the college as well, and this is something that's really good. Here we can see that he's playing really strong defense, trying to get that jump ball. He couldn't get it, and then he goes up for that block. Fantastic. This is why Dalano Banton is playing for the Raptors. So between his ability on defense, his ability to pass, his ability to get to that open spot and hit those threes, even though he was not known as a fantastic 3-point shooter, he is still a good 3-point shooter, and they can build upon that. I think Dalano Banton is a ridiculously good point guard, a ridiculously good player overall, and really is going to be maybe a future starter with the Toronto Raptors. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.